Use icons. I got those icons from a Google search, and use the word icon. Word icon. You'll get them all with different sizes. My size, hover around 50 times 50, because you'll get some icons that are 400 times 400, which makes them the entire size of the page. So 50 times 50 are if you have something that allows you to use icons. As you can see, 9.1, you don't go there. There's no icon use. They have their own. You don't have the opportunity to get your own there. Getting started. Don't assume that everyone is experienced. You will have the new digital divide, the digital divide. You'll have people who are born digital. They don't even know what a record is. Everything has been digitalized. But you'll have other people who are joined this group in mid-career. I find a getting started, this is a Camtasia, free. Screencast-O-Matic is free. It's on the internet, and you can do the exact same thing that I now am going to show you here. I've also done with Screencast-O-Matic before we got the license for Camtasia.
Getting started. This is a brief getting started video to the course. Most of you have already accessed the syllabus. It's really important that you print out all of those pieces of information. They will be very important. Across the top, we have library support, technical support, and the Writing Center. You will find the Writing Center very helpful as you navigate through the paper. Many of you are probably surprised by the amount of writing that you're having to do in the RN to BSN program.
This part, then I went over here, and I went through all of those things, so that they could have the walkthrough. It's not as fancy as me doing it, but they can see the interface. They can see where to go for things, what these stand for. It's very helpful, especially for people who are new to the online environment. Accessibility. Listen, my eyes are not what they used to be. The font on my computer is bigger than it normally is. And so that is something that I have found very helpful for some students. It's like, give them at some point, people talk about they go crazy on, and it's different. For my 20-something students, I'll give them a big PDF, don't print it all out because it's too much. I want you to find a page on healthcare reform. I want you to find a page to talk about an issue, and then just print that out. And then they said in class, why should we print that out? I said, well, you're really going to be working from that. Don't you need a piece of paper in your hand when you're really working on something? And they all looked at me, why? Excuse me, fine. But for certain people, reading a screen all the time is a strain to the eye. There is a very simple way, depending on the operating system that you have, to just increase the font size of the screen. If you have mid-career learners, please let them know that they can do that.
Or you can use Kindle. Kindle is really easy.
Yeah, well, then they have to go buy the Kindle, they can do, but see, this will be like the cheap Kindle. Just increase the the next, interface design, usability. Check your web addresses each session. They change far more quickly than you can imagine. Every time an agency updates something, the web address changes. If you look at my absolute last page of the syllabus, it's for my section where I take them on to graduate education, and there's places for them to go, national organizations or universities. I check this at the beginning of each semester, and they are different at the beginning of each semester. So check your web addresses and set your external web browsers to open in a new browser so that they can print things and it's not embedded still within the learning system. Navigating the syllabus. Look at the front of my page, the first page. I learned how to do it and I'm so excited. The hyperlink, inserting a hyperlink. So if the students have this on a screen, they can click on any of these topics and it'll take them right there. So it's just easy to navigate. Throughout the It comes up somewhere, but while we have this open, let me do it now. 10 and 11. There was something about putting a grid for the semester on one page that I found compelling. Don't do it. It is important that you liberally use white space and bullets as you do your schedule. It is easier on the eye. It's very clear what the date is, what's due. Use white space, use bullets.
And it's not like online your real estate is restricted, there's
Yeah.
lots of space.
You
there
have
for
lots
you
of
to write
space,
these
don't
things.
worry about too many pages. Evaluation. In our, I have one online course, it's a 3-hour course that I do in 2 weeks, so it's a very intense course. But these students still have to be prepared to take a licensure exam, the RN license exam, and it's a multiple choice exam. I have to test them using multiple choice questions. So they come into campus on 2 days of this session to take exams. Make sure they know well in advance, because they do their travel, well in advance when they have to be on campus, when it's an online course. For my RN to BSN students, I have a very small number of multiple choice questions, and I've supplemented their assessment with a paper, because this is completing their baccalaureate education. They need more experience as writers and writing to different audiences. And you heard me begin that many of you are surprised by how much writing you have to do. And the paper they do in my course is the paper that's in the form of an article that can be published. Statement of the problem, review of the literature, methods, evaluation. So that paper takes up a lot of the points in this particular course. Again, the evaluation for your audience and what they need. Management, e-learning content development. You need to have that within your organization, and it needs to probably live outside of you. Because making all of these little things and transferring the DVD to the MP4, that's a different part of the brain that's working. And most people who are in academia or who are top of the line teachers, they don't have that creative part of their brain, is not that engaged. We have something called Star Lab in our Johnson Center. We have students who are in our graphic design, technology, development course of study. That's their part-time job. They work in the Star Lab. And I just tell those little boys, and it seems to be far too many little boys as opposed to little girls, what I need, and they do it for me. Or what I need to have them change, they do it for me. So if you don't have that facility in your agency, you really need to have it. We've had an experience prior to us using in-house, another side of the house. We had a private partnership. It ended badly. It ended badly. It was never launched, and they took all of our stuff. We did recordings. You had to find your frame and stay in your frame. Actually, voice over PowerPoint is just as powerful. They don't just see your face. That's fine. There is a provision in Adobe Presenter where you can put your little picture there if that's important to you. But it didn't end well. So don't depend on a private partnership. Bring it in-house. Yes.
Do you have your own, for example, recording or for your simulation?
I'm sorry, you just need to speak louder.
Do you create your own simulation for this reason, or do you have to talk with that company for?
I don't have simulation here. What my multimedia are video clips from other places. And even that one that started with the people talking about health education, that was a 20-minute DVD. And I just had it changed from a DVD to an MP4 so I could post it on here. But I didn't, like those people who were talking about their problems with reading, they weren't connected to me. That was from a DVD I had.
Do you think that when you present your presentation, is your only voice is better, or you put your video there? So
No, if the video, it would just be my voice talking. And that's what we have with our private partners. You see my voice talking, but, I mean, you see my face and you see me talking, but voice over PowerPoint, they hear me. And A secret to voice over PowerPoint is that students really prefer podcasts. They really prefer, and Camtasia allows you to store it, to save it as a podcast, so they can download it to their MP3 player, walk around and listen to you. I have walked into students who are saying, I'm listening to, I got it, because it was a week that we couldn't have class, and so for my in-class students, I did a recording, and he said, I got it, see, I got it. And so they love that,
How do you deal with a large size of voiceover PowerPoint files?
They don't get, Unit 1 is the largest, I can tell you. This is the largest one I have. That was for another announcement. This is Dr. Douglas's avatar. Da, 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 da.
40 megabytes.
This is, excuse me?
Is it 40
It
megabytes?
says
Yeah.
40 megabytes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, not too
while I go on, let's see how long it takes that to load. That's the longest one I have, 42 seconds remaining.
I got a question to you.
Yes.
In the beginning of the class, you have said to your students that they need to have like a flash player, real player,
Yes,
MP reader,
install it.
that. I mean, don't you think it's too much for the students? It's a burden of the students to buy all these.
Oh, no, they don't buy it. You click on that, and it takes you to the download. Those are plugins.
Oh, but how can they download something?
It's free. All of that's free.
Okay.
No,
But
you don't
if they
have.
need to, if you need to, you need a specific software.
No,
I mean,
we
do the
don't do
school
that.
provide it to the students?
We don't do that.
So everything is free for them.
Everything's free.
Dr. Douglas,
Yes.
do you need to train the students to respond for these things, or?
No, because you don't need to know what they're doing in the background. You just need to be able to click on the icon and have it talk to you. And it won't talk to you unless you have Flash Player. It won't talk to you unless you have Real Player.
I see.
So that's how far or how long it took a 40 MB file to load, and now it's going. So big is no problem. This is why you can't hear me.
Setting at different schools or citizens groups. But in this course, we talk.
Yes.
There's some studies that say it's not okay to put two media in the same place. Text with images or with voice, either.
What do you mean? What do you mean in the same place, on the same page?
You should choose one of them because students might confuse
No.
will he video or read the.
I can tell you, my international students always tell me, in fact, I just printed it off and put it for my annual evaluation, because I know I'm one of the few people in my unit that does voice over PowerPoint, that it makes it come alive. I did not know about the podcast piece until I read it, that students like walking around listening. And then I ran into that student who said, I'm listening to you. And if they want to do that, I would much rather see the words as I'm listening. That would help me. But you can give them the option. They can have a podcast, or they can have just the Camtasia and see both.
But do you elaborate or it's just reading with the slides?
Oh, no. You never read the slides.
Okay.
I give the examples. I give the background. Oh, they'll turn on you if you do that.
I mean, my point is they can read the slides, see the
But there's
slides,
always background
which
storage.
is, yeah, I understand that.
And when I do, and actually for my recording, I don't do the recording of all the words. I usually do the recording unless, there's that introductory slide. But most of the recording that I do is the slides with images,
I see.
because they can read those other slides.
Right.
So they don't get the slides with images, because I've taken years to develop this course, and I'm not just going to give it away every semester. And so my voice over PowerPoint is the intro, and then the slides with images.
Thank you.
And somebody is setting up, so I'm almost done. Resource support. We have the Collaborative Learning Hub. It's open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and we have faculty workshops to learn how to use Blackboard. I instruct my students to email me in my personal email. I do not have students email me inside the course
Wow.
because I have to be logged into the course to get it. When I am on my computer, my email is on. So whenever they email me, I get it. It's just a personal preference. And so I tell them, email me my personal thing. I've talked about the digital divide, netiquette. You said etiquette, we call it netiquette. And I talked about the things in my discussion board. But if you turn to page 4 of my syllabus, you'll see netiquette there. And I use the words for netiquette, and then I have embedded those principles into my discussion board. Safe assign. I have, and some of you may use Turnitin. Safe assign, people from other parts of the world, there is no problem with them taking large quotations. They think it's actually an honor from the original author. That will get you in trouble in this country. And so this will help train them, because you could lose an academic position that way.
Back home too.
Well, not in a lot of Asian countries, in a lot of West African countries, you don't.
Well, it's plagiarism, isn't it?
It
Yes.
is plagiarism to us, not to them. And they have done it in their other education. And so it's just a retraining. And so that's a helpful tool for them to see. No, but I also caught a student who submitted another student's paper from the previous semester. Okay. And then our institutional, you know, you've met Dr. Goodlett, McDaniel. We have a university level support for distance education. My unit has paid for me to get certified in online education from the Sloan Consortium. I don't do a lot of traveling, so they use that money for me to get certified as an instructor. I am the advisor for all RN to BSN students. So everybody in this intensely online course of study, they have one go-to person for their questions. It's me. And it has been my experience that in my online courses and in my NC courses, they get the same Dr. Douglas. It is my own commitment. They get the same Dr. Douglas, they get the same level of support, and they struggle at the same points. At the same points of struggle for my online students, it's the same points of struggle for my classroom students. So I know that the information is getting out there in the same way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope she'll be able to stay over for lunch.
Yes.
So